And we are live. Yes, so what is going on, guys? And welcome back to my channel. And today on the West Ham unofficial YouTube channel, we do have a little bonus extra live stream. We've got a very special guest that is coming on very shortly. We do have, as you can see by the little thingy there, the Boleyn poet. He is known all over the platforms for making fantastic poems, and I'm glad to say he is joining us tonight. But before we get him on here, we've got a comment from Tom Hatcher. Good luck, Jake, from Tom and Ralph. Thank you very much indeed. But without further ado, we're going to bring Danny Fenn in, or better known as the Boleyn poet. Danny, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you, Jake. Thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you for coming on. How's your day been?
Very lazy because I only work 3 days a week, so I'm pretty much laid down watching the telly all day.
Oh, happy days, happy days.
Yeah.
So tonight, obviously, if you don't know, Danny is known for writing lots of poems. We're going to ask him some questions. And yeah, so going back to the start, Danny, how did you become a West Ham fan?
Um, I loved football. Always loved football, as most young boys do. But I wasn't particularly a fan of any football team. I liked West Ham. I liked Liverpool. I liked Leeds. Long before you was born, these was all the best teams: Leeds, Liverpool, Nottingham Forest. But then I got forced to go to the 1980 FA Cup final again, which I didn't want to go to. My mum made me go because someone had got me a ticket. And then I was 12 and a half years old. We won the FA Cup. All the men put me up on their shoulders and was bouncing about. And I just realised that I was a West Ham supporter and that was what I wanted to follow. And I thought there'd be glory forever after that. But that was really the last bit of glory we had.
Yeah, that's a very good story there. As you said, the last bit of glory we've had was in the 1980 FA Cup. What is your favourite memory as a West Ham fan for you?
I would say, again, before you was born, it would be the 1991 FA Cup semi-final at Villa Park. We lost 4-0, but it was the proudest day to be a West Ham fan. I suggest anyone who's of your age never watched clips of that day, watch that game, and you'll see what being a true West Ham supporter is all about. Because we lost 4-0, but we sung for 90 minutes. But even the Nottingham Forest fans clapped the West Ham fans. The Nottingham Forest players clapped the West Ham fans. It was my
Yeah.
proudest day to be a West Ham fan.
West Ham fans, that does definitely. Yeah, so sounds like a very memorable memory. Not the scoreline, but just being there. It must have been immense.
It truly was. It truly was. We had Tony Gale was sent off, and from that moment on, we was resoundingly beaten. But as I say, we just kept singing Billy Bond's Claret and Blue Army for pretty much about 75 minutes. It was absolutely special day.
I can imagine. Yeah. So obviously you've been a West Ham fan a long time. Who's your favourite player you've ever seen in a West Ham shirt?
I think there's no comparison to Billy Bonds, King Billy Bonds, without any doubt whatsoever. He could play anywhere on the pitch. He's just an immense man, immense player, captain, manager, and I must say, every time I've ever met him, I just get nervous. It's literally like meeting the king of the world for me and people of my age. But he's a gentleman, and he just puts you straight at ease. Billy Bonds by a mile.
Yeah, definitely. So a couple more questions for you, Danny. What is your thoughts on our new home, the London Stadium? What is your thoughts on the place?
Being honest, I don't like it. It's not for me. I go, but that's just to meet people and to have a drink and a chat and what have you. It just doesn't feel like home to me. I don't like the walk from the station. But when my grandson's now 3, and in a few years he'll want to go to football with my son and my grandson, and it would be a nice place for my grandson to go.
Yeah.
But for people of my age, it's not. Upton Park for me was home, not Stratford.
Yeah. I completely agree. Obviously, growing up, Upton Park was the place, and then moving, moving to the London Stadium, going there from the first time and coming out of Westfield, it was like, wow. But yeah, it's definitely not like home with all of the added things that are there. It's just never gonna feel like Upton Park, whatever they do with it, is it?
I'm surprised to hear you say that, to be honest with you. How old are you, Jake?
13.
I'm very surprised to hear you say that, because I thought you would. Well, I thought that would have been what you liked. So I thought you would have preferred Stratford to Upton Park.
Yeah, well, Upton Park's where the memories have been made for West Ham, and not in Stratford. So I think that's home, Upton Park, innit?
Yeah, and we've just got to make new memories at a new place for people like yourself, I suppose, of your age and my grandson's age.
Definitely, definitely. We've got a comment here from Dad. What's your favourite chant, West Ham chant from over the years, that you sung at Upton Park, or away from home?
Really, just I'm forever blowing bubbles. When it's sung properly, now it's not sung correctly. It's meant to be sung a lot slower.
Yeah.
And I've actually made a couple of songs, which when I've heard them sung, so I've created a song for, oh God, Snodgrass, and one for someone else I can't even remember now. But when I was queuing up to go into Stratford, and I heard people singing the song that I'd actually wrote the words to. Oh, and Declan Rice, I wrote one for Declan Rice. But when I heard the Snodgrass one being sung, I was thinking, yes, I writ that. Oh, that come from my brain, that pen, and I heard other people sort of singing it. Yeah.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
Bubbles is the best song for me when it's sung properly.
Yeah. Well, we personally like going to away games more, and you can't beat West Ham fans away from home, can you?
No, definitely not. No, I'll make it right there.
Yeah.
That's the proper West Ham fans still when they go away.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your favourite away day? What's your favourite? I know there's been many. What's your favourite away? Is I like performance or atmosphere or kind of just experience?
What, ground or actual game?
Actual game, kind of like just experience and being there.
Chelsea, I think it was about not in this season when we could have won the league. I'm sure we give them a trouncing. And I used to love going to Highbury, the old Arsenal stadium. It was a proper old stadium, very close to the pitch. I used to love going to White Hart Lane in the 1980s. And Villa Park. I've always liked going to Villa Park. It was a lovely ground. I've probably been to Villa Park sort of 10, 11 times. I've been there probably more than any other ground, Villa Park.
Yeah.
So yeah, Villa Park.
Yeah, well, we've been as a family, we've been to lots of grounds, and I think we've got a comment here. This is my friend from Corey, who's an Arsenal fan. Yeah, I love Highbury too. I'm sure you do. But for me, my favourite kind of experience in stadium was Liverpool away, where I think it was 2 years ago, we outsung "You'll Never Walk Alone," and that was immense. That was I'll never forget that.
Oh, Anfield, yeah. We went to Anfield again long before you was born, after the Hillsborough disaster. I'm pretty sure West Ham was the first team to play there after they cleared, because the pitch was just covered in flowers for quite a long while, in memory to the 96 who died. And I'm pretty sure we was the first team to play there after that. And that was a very, very emotional sort of occasion. I need to have a chop of my tea.
Yeah. And we've got a comment here from Philip. Have you got any memories against Millwall?
Yeah, probably not to mention on here though. But yes, yes. I was too young to be at the one. There was a very famous one in the early 70s, which was a testimonial. But yeah, it was a very scary place to go to. I went there when we played I think it was either the late 80s or early 90s, and a couple of games when they've been to our place. Let's just say it's not for the faint-hearted type of person. That is a proper game.
Yeah. Moving on to your fantastic poems. Did anything or anyone influence you to start creating West Ham poems?
Not really. What I do, I've always got my little note where I scribble things down and a little pen, and that's what I like to do. I like to wander about and just think ideas. So if I'm sitting on the train, and I'll just scribble things down, and then I'll get off at Upton Park, or I'll stand looking out from Upton Park station down Green Street, So I've literally wrote so many. I've wrote one looking to the side of the station where we all used to queue up. I've looked one as if it's a journey. I've wrote one where it's a journey walking down Green Street. I've done one as if it's a statue speaking to the fans, asking where we've gone, because like the statue sort of asking where are the fans gone. I used to see you. So as if the statue's speaking to us about each stand, the North Bank, the South Bank. They just sort of tend to come to me. Whereas last New Year's Eve, I went for a walk or New Year's Day, I went for a walk at Stratford, done a whole lap of the new ground with my pen and paper, and not a single word formed, because it's just, I don't know, it's just nothing there. I don't know, it just didn't hit me as a poet, so to speak.
Yeah.
Nothing hit my heart.
Yeah. A comment from Kent Hammers. Danny, are you a book reader as well as a poet writer? That's an interesting question.
I'm an avid book reader, yeah. I sort of read 2 or 3, 4 books at a time. So I'll be reading one, 30 pages of that, and I'll dive back into another book and then go into another one. Yeah, so yes, very much. I have underneath my bed and in the cupboard just behind here, there is just books everywhere.
Yeah. Obviously, to create the amount of poems you've had must take creativeness. I've heard a story that that for one of them you were just walking along and you needed something to write on, otherwise you would have forgot it, and you went in the betting shop and got a bet slip and wrote it down. It's just things like that. It's
Correct.
just I'm just coming across things just like that. Oh, that's good. Just to like make a poem must be very hard work. Do you enjoy doing it?
Yeah, I find it very, so it's not just West Ham, it's just I like to write poems about anything.
Yeah.
Some people I drive them mad because they think, here he goes again, it's another, but if it makes one person think what I say or write, then as far as I'm concerned, it's served its purpose. Poetry is a form of art, so some people get it, some people don't, and it's really open to interpretation.
Yeah. Well, my favourite poem you've done was one a couple of years ago against Spurs, and just you can see just the effort that's gone into that. They were really superb, I think.
I did explain to you that one was scribbled down on probably about I just literally had scraps of paper. I'm a bus driver, and I was scribbling it down as I was driving along, little bit here, a little bit there. It was in no chronological order, and I just got home. I laid all them words out, and it was basically going on about Spurs being delusional and blah blah blah. But saying that, I do think this quite possibly could be Spurs' season. This season, I do think they're going to win the league. I've got a sneaky suspicion.
Yeah, people have been on about that. Let's hope that doesn't happen. That'd be the worst nightmare, I think.
Very much so.
We've got another comment. Did you stay at the same seat at Upton Park a few years going there?
Well, I actually worked there, so I never had to pay.
Right.
I've been Herbie the Hammer, I've been Bubbles the thing, I was Father Christmas. I used to take people on tours around the stadium and all around the background. I worked in the kitchens. There's pretty much not a job I didn't do over there. And also in the 80s, and my dad worked there. My dad's buried in the car park. He worked there for many, many years. My mum worked there. My wife worked there. So it's very much steeped in my DNA, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm very firmly linked with the whole Upton Park, West Ham, whatever you want to, as I've referred to it, it's in my DNA.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's really interesting. Actually, obviously, as you said, done every job there is there. Is there going off on that? Is there one job that you found that was the best out of all of them? Was it like kind of I don't know whether you like met players or just like being in and around the squad and the ground before before the game? What's your favourite kind of moment there? Kind of job.
After a while, it just becomes a job. But for a while, I worked at the training ground. So when they was all sort of, I would literally set each player's table up in the morning. I knew. So this was the time of Teddy Sheringham, that era. I knew exactly what each one would have for breakfast. I knew.
Oh wow.
what time they'd get in, what paper they read, and I would just lay it all out, and that was all I'd have to do, and I'd get paid, and then I'd just stand leaning on the fence watching them going through their training routines. And I actually watched Alan Pardew with Marlon Harewood and one of the, might have been Danny Gabidon, a particular move where Marlon would turn a defender with his arm and shoot, and then I watched it come off on the Saturday. I watched this particular thing where the ball was laid into Marlon, he pushed into the defender, pushed him with his arm, turned and scored. So I actually watched that all week building up what they'd been planning, come off in the game.
Wow, yeah, that must have been amazing. Yeah, that sounds like a dream, just seeing like doing that and being in and around the squad and just knowing what they have for breakfast. It's just and just what they do on an everyday basis. And that must have been unreal.
It truly was. It was, but it's an eye opener. You get to see how
it actually happens, kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah, they're very mollycoddled. They're very literally every whim is catered for. So they arrive, their breakfast is laid out for them. Their socks are here, their boots are there. Absolutely everything's laid out, and then they walk in, throw it all on the floor. The kit man picks it all up and washes it all, and then they all get massaged, and then they all tend to go golf or down whatever they do for the rest of the day.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just touching back on your poems. What is the I know you've done lots, but what is there one that's just kind of stuck there and thought, wow, that was really good? Have you got a favourite one that you've ever done?
Yeah, probably one called E13, which, if you don't know, that was the postcode of the old place. And do you want me to quickly do it for you? I know that one off by heart. I do actually know. So picture that as a journey down. Literally, you come out the station.
Yeah.
Probably with a lot of younger people, they wouldn't even know what I'm talking about. But I'll whack it off to you anyway because I do know it off by heart. Ready? Right, now you've got the Bernabeu, the Nou Camp, and the San Siro in Milan. But E13, the bowling ground, for me, is where it all began. That place was like a church to us, where we'd come to pray, where we'd sing our favourite hymns and watch our heroes play. Walking out the station, the smell, the sight, the sound, twinkle-toeing like Alan Devonshire to avoid the horse manure on the ground. A bacon sarnie from Kent to help to soak the beer. Then you pay the programme seller and you'd hear the North Bank cheer. You'd spot the ticket touts who'd buy any spares for cash, and you'd pop into Nathan's for a double pie and mash. You'd join the queue for the South Bank, and it was knees up Mother Brown as Brooklyn glides from side to side and King Bobby wore his crown. The rolled up sleeves of Bonzo and Paolo's fancy tricks, the grace of Ian Bishop and a thunderbolt from Dix. Days at Upton Park are sadly now all finished, but our ghosts and all our heroes, they can never be diminished. 1-0 to the Cockney boys, you'd hear the fateful cry, long live the bowling, dreams won't fade and die. I recently made a pilgrimage to say one final prayer, but there's only dust and memories. Upton Park's no longer there. But I'll always remember it at its best midweek under lights. It was atmospherically electric. It was one of football's finest sights. Now you've got the Theatre of Dreams, Wembley, Lazio in Rome, but E13, the bowling ground, will always be our own.
Wow, yeah, that everything you said there was very much true about the Upton Park life. That was very, very good. Thank you very much. But we've got another comment here from Philip about being in and around the squad. Did they ever complain about their breakfast?
No, because all they ever ate was that they all either eat cereal and fruit or just fruit. So no, and you just got to know what each one of them would have each day, and I just make sure it was there for them. Yeah, and that was it. They'd just drink fresh juice or water. That was pretty much it. Yeah, and then they all had their certain sweets. They could all have a certain type of sweets that they would eat, like little children, like very random, like Star Mix or whatever they was. Yeah, strangely enough.
Yeah. I'm sure you can. I'm sure I can answer this one for you. But you mentioned it in the poem. Your favourite pie and mash shop, and I'm sure I know what it is.
To be honest with you, no. There was a nice one further down the road in Blasto, which my friend ran for a while, which
Oh,
done a
right.
lovely pie mash. And I used to get that. I used to get it for nothing as well. So I'll say I'll say my mate Rob Palmer's one, even though sadly that's gone out of business now because just like Nathan's, there's no one there to eat anymore because
No.
most of their business was done on a match day.
Yeah, well, that's where all the revenue came from. It was match day, wasn't it? Of course, that's just
Yeah.
been wiped away from hundreds of businesses around the bowling ground and just been replaced by a block of flats. So, yeah,
Yeah. Mm.
yeah,
Sadly.
yeah, very sad. It's been a pleasure to talk to you tonight, Danny. Thank you very much for coming on, and that was a very a great poem you read to us.
Thank you very much, Jake. You're doing a really good job.
Thank you.
Cheers, Jake.
Thank you. And that's it. If you have enjoyed today's video, make sure you do give it a huge thumbs up. Subscribe to the West Ham unofficial YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I will see you on Wednesday and on Thursday for a couple more videos. But until then, from me and from Danny, come on, your irons.